as we get into game, we can see a 5-man commit in the top lane. They are looking to first blood this Malphite, it seems. And he
Malphite's
is
going to
none
spot
the
them.
wiser.
He's sat in this Prixel brush. He's going to spot them. He's just going to walk down the river to his team. So I
Nice.
hope we shouldn't see a first blood for MOTOROLA this game. We shouldn't. But
you can see pings here. They're trying to be like,
not just yet, anyway.
Let's make sure we get down to that bot side. It looks like the PEKARA bot lane are not choosing to get vision on the bot side jungle though, so fair. They're just going to sit in that bush, and we did see in game 1 they tried to get an early advantage by bush camping, but the MOTOROLA bot lane didn't go the same way they went. So
thing is though, I think Cookie and Paper Knight are probably going to be smart to the fact that they're probably in that front brush. Given that they invaded top side, obviously they were all seen. They knew that the invade was there. I feel like it's pretty obvious that they're there, and we're going to see that Paper Knight's hovering the bot side jungle for his jungler just in case. And yeah, then we're going to see Cookie hesitant to walk up the wave. He does still commit, but it doesn't really matter in the end. And yeah, nothing comes out of it. I think that they were just cautious just in case. I like that though.
Yeah. I agree. I think it was good play by the side of MOTOROLA. And I mean, there is a natural range disadvantage in this lane for them. So, the expectation is, the expectation is that you're going to get hurt trying to farm on this Vayne. And so the early lane is probably going to just be, unless we get some action from the Nocturne, the early lane is probably going to be PEKARA Brawler favored, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
Lulu's poke is really strong, and the Jinx poke is real strong.
Yeah, and it also comes down to the fact that Vayne wants the farm. Vayne wants the scale. She's not gonna run you down level 2. Like she's just not that type of champ. But I tell you what, both these ADCs, I've seen them both perform now to a really good level. So I think if any ADCs are gonna do it, they've got to be 2 of the higher elo ADCs in the tournament.
Yeah,
I know
agree.
Tom, our ADC, is up there as well. However, maybe not the most traditional ADC and such, but
yeah, playing a lot more AP bots. But yeah, I think Noiboy was seen play a myriad of AD carries, and Cookie, I'm unfamiliar with just how many he has, but he is played mainly.
I've seen him play Corki a fair bit. I think that might be one of his more comfortable picks, but I've never seen him have a bad game. I don't think so.
Yeah, he has looked clean on most of the champions we've seen him play, and we can see he has cleaned up a little bit on the CS differential that we saw in that first minute or so, where we had about 11-2, and now he's getting back up as the wave crashes into his turret. But let's have a quick look at runes. I wanna. Oh wait, no, maybe not. We might have a 2v2 here in the mid lane. It looks like Boy does lock him down, but nothing else should happen here, right?
The one thing I will say about BRALE on the Azir here is that he is looking to poke the Karma far too much. With her shield that she has and the agency she's got in lane, especially against a champ like Azir, who is piss weak early, he really needs to just be farming. As soon as he uses his E, that's most of his mana bar gone. His mana cost is just ridiculous. He's got no mana at the start. He needs to just focus on these waves, get his items in, and then he can look to fight. He's a heavily scaling champ.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, you can see the lane is going in the favor of Akama right now. They haven't used their pots yet, even though he is on about 10% HP, because he knows he's going to base here. So
yeah, I don't mind that though. He's going to pick up the Blasting Wonder, which makes me think he's probably going Nash's first. Which is, I think, pretty stable for Azir. That's kind of the go-to. We are going to see the Darius on the bot with a TP as well.
Yeah, that's a 4-man commit here. I don't think they get anything though. That is a big waste of resources.
I'm not 100% sure that they know how to use TP at this point.
Oh no, we can see a little bit of flame in the Twitch. The extreme play on bot, goddamn. And to be fair, it was self flame, but it is. Unfortunate.
I think it was plays beyond our comprehension a little bit. I think that was a little bit too IQ for everyone. If it had paid off though, it would have been insane. However, and he doesn't exactly lose anything by running the TP there. If he was going to TP the lane anyway, it's fine. He doesn't lose anything. It's just
No.
Azir does have the TP advantage now. But
yeah, which will be important as they move towards some of these neutrals that we were speaking about. You're going to expect them to probably want to play around that grub, right? Grubs should be spawning in about
the thing I'm getting really surprised about though is that the Darius is currently getting out-farmed. He has one of the fastest jungle plays in the game right now based on his bleed.
Yes. To be fair, he did just hard commit that while all the time he spent just going in that mid lane scuffle, the Nocturne got to do a complete second clear. And if Nocturne gets 2 of these grubs, he will hit 6. So that is something to be... Yeah, there we go. We can see he just got one of the grubs and he has now got the ultimate. So he is going to be strong here. We see unstoppable form. It comes out like 3v2. This is going to be... Yeah, this is first blood here. Perfect form flashes in. It's going to try and end the Darius. Yeah, he gets out. That's a double kill for the Malphite.
And it looks as though... Maybe he's going Malignance first on Malphite into full tank, which I wouldn't mind actually.
No, I don't dislike it. As we said, his role in this game is to land ultimates, right?
Yeah.
And so Malignance, it makes his ultimate cooldown significantly shorter. It makes the burst on it hurt more, so he should be able to presumably, maybe not one shot, but significantly hurt Cookie and Paper Knight. And Cookie looks like he might go down here. Never mind changing the targets. Noiboy gets exhausted. This is a very...
I think Noiboy might have cancelled an auto attack there, but we see the Nocturne come down and Azir's here as well. He's gonna flash, he's gonna pick it up as well. Oh, okay. That's so unfortunate for the PEKARA that they didn't manage to pick the lane there.
And I think that's just the difference here. When PEKARA tried to make something happen, enemy bot lane has just got to walk out. And now, you know, when the MOTOROLA guys send bot, they get 2 kills quickly and even up the scoreline now. Next person to get kills.
One thing I will say though, the reason that these ganks are happening, they were so concentrated on trying to kill them under turret, but the Jinx hasn't put down a single ward yet, and Lulu had a ward up as well. Just one ward would have made a difference there.
Yeah, for sure. Just knowing someone was coming would have allowed them to not commit so hard.
Yeah.
But either way, one thing I did want to mention in that replay... oh, hold up. No, let's talk about this one. Yeah, you see the nice flash ultimate there by the Azir. And like you said, in the early laning, he's a champ that wants to scale, so getting these kills on him is going to be super useful for him.
Yeah.
The faster he can get his items, the better, right? So... but yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, one thing I did want to say, getting those kills onto Malphite, I think is actually quite useful, because it's going to mitigate the difference between the CS between him and the Mordekaiser. Might make it easier for him to actually farm and stay relevant in his lane.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you what, getting the Chemtech Drake as well, that's actually huge for... I think they would have preferred it being a Chemtech Soul, however, having that Chemtech Drake, especially with the likes of Karma and Lulu on the team, really nice Drake to pick up for them, and I don't think they would... Well, obviously they can't get Soul on it, but that would have been so nice for their team. However,
like just being, you know, they got every Chemtech Drake that was available to them, essentially. Obviously, there's only been one, but, you know, it's still a good thing for them, for all of their shielding. Will make their life significantly easier as we see another potential gank here by the Darius. Is this going to be more wasted time, or is he going to be able to make something happen here? We do see Milio doesn't seem to know he's there, and meanwhile the Karma's coming. Flash will come out Paper Knight.
I think, Darius just turns around and leaves there and takes that as a success. Flash for nothing.
Yeah. Flash for nothing. None of his camps are even up right now, so he can't be farming even if he wanted to. So unless he wanted to start going into the enemy jungle. So yeah, I'd say that's actually a good use of his time. You know, turn around instead of what happened in the first one. We actually get something here.
Yeah, and, he doesn't need to pussyfoot around and waste time.
If we look at the minimap, we can see he has committed to trying to get the counter jungle going. Nocturne is on the way though, and okay, he's trying to come around the back here. Paranoia is going to come out, and a TP's coming as well. I believe that is this. I think that is going to be feat of warfare here for the side of Motorola.
Yeah, Brale's going to look.
That's a really nice
Brale.
God damn. And as quickly as the early game looked great for PEKARA, it's thrown away at 10 minutes. And we now
I
have
think the
another
Darius
2K gold lead.
might be overcommitting a little bit for the ganks. He's trying to force
Mm.
stuff which really just isn't quite there.
Yeah. I mean, we
But
mentioned in the
I
Champions
like
Flex
it,
that he was going to struggle.
But the thing
Oh,
is, like, if you're about to go out after this game, like, give it your all in it. Give it a go.
yeah.
Try stuff that might work. It might pay off. If you pay off there, then that's great. But fortunately, not this time.
Oh, we do have another little bit of combat here. This is an uneven fight, though. Motorola don't have the numbers, and we see two man unstoppable force going to come out, bite the Malphite. He then quickly gets wrapped up by the ultimate from Mordekaiser. Wastes as much time as he can. He's now out of Brazil, and it is back to being an even fight. But there is no mana on the side of this Karma right now, and I don't know how this goes anymore. I think this is... We do see all three of the grubs here do get picked up by PEKARA, but Perfect Form is really confident here, looking to do what he can. Cheeky bit of poke by BRALE onto Hoi Hoi, and that's gonna be it. I think I think that went well for PEKARA. They were able to secure the majority there.
Yeah,
They make it so no one gets the
my
grub
perspective
majority.
of that is that it didn't go bad for PEKARA.
Yeah.
So like, it was kind of a... That was, I think, an opportunity for them to fully throw the game if they committed to a fight there. So I actually liked that they didn't. If they weren't sure, they just didn't, and that's more than okay at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
However,
I
it must be
agree.
said, like, I would say Motorola definitely scale better. Jinx, Azir, so that's something to definitely look at.
Oh no,
Oh,
Shutdown's gonna go over to the Mordekaiser, and that's not great. Oh, look at the damage! Brain of LeBron is gonna get that kill there, but it isn't a shutdown, and so that is overall a net loss, I'd argue. And we see they burn Luke MLG's flash here. Gonna try and turn it around. Noibo's got big damage. The ultimate's gonna come out a little bit too early by BRALE, in my opinion. But his damage is really good right now. We can see he's got that Nash's Tooth locked in, so he does hurt. But
And I mean,
nothing's going to turn out of that.
You say it's a bit early as an Azir. However, I see the vision from him. And like, I know everyone jokes about zoning ult, right? You could argue that was a zoning ult. I'll just throw that out there.
I do think it was. You're 100% right there.
I think him not getting the knockback isn't necessarily the worst thing. I think he was mainly making so. I think it was the Nocturne that was maybe a little bit too deep. So he just allowed his jungler to get out. And it's got to be said again, Mismatch is having a solid performance on this Nocturne. So
no, 100%. Considering again from a comp perspective, I felt like the Nocturne was very out of place. But yeah, from a comp perspective, the Nocturne, in my opinion, felt quite out of place. But he has been, I think he's been allowed to farm really effectively, and so you know we can see there's like a 20 or so difference in the jungle right now in terms of CS, and that's mainly because we've seen the Darius do so many plays like this where he's really trying to have impact on the map, but unfortunately, he's not playing a champion that has those kind of has that kind of capacity. You know, he without being able to have the ghost that say a top lane Darius would have. He's relying exclusively on being able to hit them 3 times to be able to keep up with them. And so, in these instances where we're seeing him sit in bushes for upwards of like 15 seconds, this is where his gold deficit is coming from, not being able to actually convert. The time spent in lanes into gold gained in a lane.
Yeah, 100%. The one thing I would say is like we saw the replay of that fight top lane. If you're Mordekaiser there, you're in a 2v1, you're against a Darius, you take that 100%. You're picking up a shutdown. That was so well played by Perfect Form. Whether or not it was well played by him or misplayed by the Malphite for getting a little bit too close, either way, picking up a really nice kill. So I would take that if I was him.
In any 2v1 situation, unless you're massively ahead, I think you take the fact you make it a 1-for-1, right? Yeah, and we see 100%. Here, Mismatch is going to trade his ultimate for the flash on the Karma. which will be down now for when that next Drake spawns. So, you know, PEKARA are definitely going to be wanting to try and secure that soul point for themselves here. I believe we are on Infernal Soul as well, which is going to be really useful for them. Because, I mean, again, Karma's damage in the late game is going to be lacking. And so, you know, knowing that they're going to be relying exclusively on the Jinx and the Darius for damage in the team fights, I think it's, you know, it's going to be super useful for them to secure that Infernal Soul if they can.
Is there a place in which do we have jungle timers on? Are we able to?
We do not here, but oh no, they are punishing the flash timer already on the Karma.
Yeah.
Ignore the fact that Drake isn't up.
I was going to say whenever Drake is coming up, they may potentially be able to look on the Nocturnal timer, but instead they've just played on the Karma timer.
Gonna get killed here. That is rough here for the bot lane. They engage this fight, and the Vayne is just gonna smoke them. 4-0-3 right now on the Vayne. Cookie is looking really strong right now in this series.
I don't want to speak too early, but I think this game's over.
No, I don't want to say that as well, but I kind of agree. Because again, the only tool they have to lock down the Vayne is the Malphite ult. There's no way in hell they're going to get the root from Karma on her because she is so fast. And they don't have any other meaningful CC. Like, I mean, you can get a knock up with the Lulu ultimate, but like realistically, you want to save that to keep your team safe. You don't want to use that as an engaged tool. That's not, because it's not what it is. It's not what it's supposed to be used for. So realistically, the Vayne actually does kind of have free reign in this game.
100%.
And the fact that she's set up to succeed right now does scare me for the side of PEKARA.
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle to come back into it for PEKARA now, purely based on just this Vayne. Like we're seeing a 4-0 Vayne. She's got her Bork. She's nearly cashed in her Cull as well. This is what I was talking about moving speed for Darius though. However, that is exactly what you were talking about. So
yeah, that was unfortunate there, I think. And we do see the ultimate comes out. Perfect Form should drop here. Yeah, he should go down. So,
however, that is exactly what you were talking about. Before the game even started, you were saying how the Nocturne was going to ult the Darius and potentially save a teammate. Unfortunately, not quite able to save the teammate, but it was a good effort nonetheless.
Yeah. As we get further into the game, unfortunately, the Darius is behind right now, which is one of the main things we said we didn't want to see. And I mean, again, respect to them for trying to make something happen here, as he does try to execute the Milio. Unfortunately, he does get taken into the ultimate by Mordekaiser, and they are able to convert that into a kill as well. But
I guess what they'll take out of that, though, is that the Mordekaiser and the Milio flashed, whereas they only burn. I think they only burnt the flash of Darius, potentially. I don't think anyone else flashed.
Yeah.
So
everybody else's flash is already up, or it's Karma's, which we know got burnt about 3.5 minutes ago. So
yeah.
And as we do have the third Drake spawning here, we can see all 5 members of PEKARA are here. Mordekaiser does have the TP, so he can come down if need be. But we'll have to see how they choose to take this fight. I think in a pure 5v5, even at a 5k disadvantage, unless they get the correct targets, if Darius can get his damage off, it's still kind of close. We do see here, the Mordekaiser TP might get punished. They're trying to punish it, but unfortunately, Paranoia is going to come out here and mismatch again on top of him. This is a very messy fight here. Mordekaiser's going to get kept alive just about. Mismatch is almost dead, but Mordekaiser gets that kill, and it's going to be a massacre here. Karma is going to lock down the Vayne. Noiboy is taking a lot of damage here. Flash going to come out by BRALE. BRALE's trying to make it work. He's going to get one. Is he going to be able to kill Lulu? I don't know. It's kind of close here. Hoy's taking a lot of damage. Shutdown's going to come out though. This is a weirdly close fight. Flash coming out by Karma just on time. That just came off cooldown, and it keeps him safe here. But they have to give up that dragon, and this is going to delay Soul.
That fight was fucking mental.
Yeah, I agree. It was way closer than it had any right to be, considering how far behind Kara are.
And picking up 2 shutdowns as well.
Yeah, I agree. They lose the Dragon Soul point, but I like the call here to try and commit onto the Mordekaiser. He TP's a little too deep in their territory, right? And then now everybody is all mashed up here, and with the Bane flank as well, Noiboy's going to just take 3 damage, but then the 2 supports are able to actually kind of keep him away, and they're able to convert it into a kill. Maybe a little bit of overconfidence there on the side of Cookie. But yeah, this fight got really messy. And
I think, though, the reason that fight was so close was that MOTOROLA started that fight very split. They were not connected with their carries, and so it made it really difficult for them to focus the same target, which is why we saw Mismatch nearly gets picked.
No, I agree. And now we're just going straight into another bit of action here, because we see Atacon is being started by the side. This is Voracious as well. I haven't seen a Voracious Atacon in a while. If the side of PEKARA can lock this,
that is a 0 already down.
Them. Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, the Atacon is going to get dropped here as we see Paranoia comes out by the Nocturne. And now the Cavalry is in here. Everyone barring Milio is here for MOTOROLA Esports. They are looking to contest this. They have the advantage. And, you know, it's only at 4K right now. It might have to be given away here. I don't know whether or not PEKARA have it in them to contest it. Unfortunately, the Atacon resets. And now we're into a full 5v5. Brain of LeBron is super low here. Brain of LeBron is dead.
Cookie's just spectator at the moment.
Yeah, he's chilling on the other side. Again, this is super split.
They're just going to take Atacon. This game is just out of reach, in my opinion.
No, I agree. This is super rough here for the side of PEKARA.
They're gonna kill them all as well.
Atacon's up now. Even if they do get revenge kills, it doesn't mean anything. And Noiboy is going down here. Gets hooked in.
That should be game.
Yeah,
I think should close it out from here.
Yeah, I don't think they can push to win now, but I agree that the gold lead is now maybe insurmountable. Especially considering, as you said earlier in the game, the scaling team is the blue side. Yep. So, you know, they're already massively ahead. And so I think the window with which PEKARA can win, but we do see Human burnt here. This is a bad idea, though.
Yeah. Good choice to leave, I think.
Yeah, I agree. He stopped their base timers. Nice.
The reason I think that the game is a little bit out of reach now is not so much the gold difference as such, although that does obviously play a part. It's more just the map presence that Perfect Form is allowing in this top lane. I don't think enough credit has gone to him this game. But they have complete control of everything. And we see when it comes to these 5v5 team fights, when they're grouped up, we've got the Milio, like with all the healing, but this Mordekaiser just goes absolutely fucking mental on their team, and he picks up the Darius straight away. And with the Azir follow-up, Vayne wasn't even fighting them, and they lost. So
yeah, I agree. I think it's super messy here. And especially considering it was them that initially started that Atacon, for it to go this way for them is super rough, you know? They committed a lot of resources, they committed a lot of time, there's a lot of wasted XP they didn't get in mid or bot because they were spending that much time up top. And then they lose the fight and they don't get the objective, and it just sets them that much farther behind. And so
Mismatch just ulted the Darius and he flashed away under turret, so his flash is going to be down, and potentially that might be their like an engaged source for them gone for the next fight. And I think it could come down to another team fight, one more team fight.
No, I agree.
It could kick the end.
You've got Drake coming up in 50, you've got Baron coming up in just under 50. Whichever objective MOTOROLA decide to engage on here, if they if PEKARA BRALE decide to contest them, and I mean, they might just die here in the mid lane right now. This is already looking messy. We do have a big unstoppable force here coming out for PEKARA. 2 kills quickly here on their main carries too. The Malphite does have to flash out here, but he is still gonna die, and all of his stats are gonna go on Perfect Form right now, who is looking very dead. Big shot for Darius.
Really nice fight for PEKARA there.
Look, they look like they may be going for the Baron? Maybe
Lefter is not too happy with his team there. Saw a couple of pings of their ults still up for the Nocturne and the Azir. Maybe not too happy.
No, understandably though. I think he was completely abandoned.
Very deep. There was plenty of time for them to get there to him, especially when they were taken off to Brazil. So
yeah, he did not die. He just being here. Oh no. But yeah, I think good
I think
call
what
here.
he might be saying there is peel them.
Yeah. No, I
Maybe
agree.
I see what he's on about though. Mismatch is stood there. He's watching his team get fucked. Like he's a cut right now, and he runs away.
Yeah, he
Like,
does run away. He's like, no, let me go farm chickens right now. Let me get out of here. And meanwhile,
he is
Mordecai's
not about that fight.
in
I
fact,
understand.
honestly, actually, he didn't even go to farm anything. He just kind of hovered.
Yeah.
So
He
you know,
was
he
not
didn't even get
interested
anything.
in being in that fight.
Yeah,
I understand, like he doesn't want to give a shutdown and stuff. I think there was a potential there. Good spell shield. I think there was a potential there where they could have turned that team fight. And Mordecai's, I don't think you can solo it.
No, not quite right now. I don't think his health bar is not
Are we
looking
going to see a
healthy
Jinx
right
ult
now.
flying in though? Because that could pop him.
We have seen some big boy Jinx ults in this in these games. There's a couple whiffs, but they seem to know something is happening, but they don't. And look, even still, Motorola have vision in that area, so they knew they were chilling there. So no one's gonna overcommit here, and so it's just a free Baron, which is unfortunate. We'll have to see. I mean, we've seen the Azir splitting quite a bit, so we'll see if they can actually get anything here if they decide to group up as 5 and try to push down mid.
Yeah, going for his death grab as well now, so
we can see the Azir's about 20 CS up, and he's almost on that death cap, so he is going to hurt. In the bot lane, we have 2 items on the Vayne versus 2 items on the Jinx, so it is very similar. And top lane is the main place where we're seeing a difference. We got that whole third item. Also, notably, the Mordekaiser is building more damage. So, you know, he's gone Riftmaker, Leandries, and the Rylai's here, as opposed to maybe specking into tank. I'm not a top laner, so I'm not 100% sure if that's the standard build for the Mordekaiser, or if he would go more tank stats here. But considering how tanky he is in the team fights anyway, despite the fact he's not building for it, is, you know, he's a force to be reckoned with in this game right now.
yeah, I think those 3 items they can go kind of core on Malphite. I would expect now we'll see him going into the more tanky route. Potentially seeing a Thorn Mail for the Darius, maybe a Spirit Visage, maybe a Jack Show, maybe that sort of stuff is what I would expect to see him going from here.
Yeah, for sure. And we see here, second turret going to go down during this Baron buff, and immediately Azir is going to summon summon his turret. So they have a little bit more control here in this, you know, very forward position. Doesn't look like we're going to see too much more. We do have Cookie pushing in mid lane, so we'll see if they can get anything. BRALE trying to make something happen with the shuffle here. Doesn't commit his ultimate though. Gets a good little chunk of damage onto the Karma though, and Karma, I don't think Karma can take part in this fight right now. The health that she's on right now, she's looking kind of messy, and then meanwhile, they're just gonna completely give that tier 3 in the mid tier, and it's probably gonna be an inhibitor too. I mean, they can't really contest it. With Karma being as low HP as she is, she's a large part of why they can survive in team fights a little bit longer than they should, you know, with all of the AoE shielding and stuff. So we are going to see here second inhib potentially going down. Not quite though. The wave is going to try and crash into it, but
I think perfect form.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm pretty sure Lefterist told them, no, we're getting this. And
yeah, I agree. You can see with his positioning, right?
Him, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. It looked like his team were wanting to walk out. He wasn't done with that. He wanted that in here, and I think that was the right choice. I like this as this TP from Azir as well. This is the right choice to push in this top lane as well.
I agree. Get as much as you can, especially now that you have supers coming in the other lanes. You can try and get as much as you can. Or 2-man ultimate here by the Malphite. Paper Knight is going to go down, so that's maybe not the right target here. They're going to get 2 quick kills here. Shutdown is going to go on to the Karma, but this fight is going towards Motorola. Karma's got to keep her entire tournament dream alive right now. 1v3? I don't think it's doable. Yeah, look at them. Like, BRALE is... Nah. BRALE's trying to just take this inhib, like, because it's the free objective, right? But you got to see that
they can just end.
Yeah, they can end here. I don't think Karma can stop this. This is
Azir
gotta
can just
be-
diver if he so chooses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
exactly what Azir might
as you
do.
say that, it happens.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
gotta be
exactly what I
game.
would have done. So it makes perfect sense, and that is going to be game, as you said. Yeah, really nice, convincing performance from Motorola, and I guess we will see them in the next round.
100%. 2-0. Decisive victory for the side of Motorola Esports. And our top 4 has no OG teams in it. So, you know, new year, new season, new blood, new champion.